You're listening to a Barefoot Lawyer Reports on China presentation on the history of human rights abuses in modern communist China. To listen to other parts of this series, check the links in the description. Hello everyone, welcome to the Barefoot Lawyer Reports on China. My name is Will Dethridge, the producer. Joining me as always is Chen Guangcheng.
Hello everyone, I'm glad to see you here again.
Yeah, and today we begin the first episode in our series that covers the modern history of human rights abuses in communist China. Since a majority of Guangcheng's work has been done in the last few decades of Chinese history, he will be presenting in each of these episodes a bit of history surrounding China's descent into a lot of its modern human rights abuses. So, Guangcheng, what time periods will we mostly be talking about in this series?
Yeah, I think we will talk about the CCP's history since 1989 because that time is just after the Tiananmen Square crackdown, and we will talk about what happened in that time.
Yeah, that sounds good. And of course, for those listening, I mean, this is the era of human rights, which you're an expert, Guangcheng, right? This is the era when you were very active. So, Guangcheng, where would you like to start?
Yeah, I think I want to talk about first after the CCP crackdown on the movement in Tiananmen Square. Of course, at that CCP killed a lot of students and the people in Beijing. At that time, I think Western media focused on Beijing. But in fact, in different places, different provinces, the movement happened too. For example, Qingdao, Shanghai, and Guangdong, like a lot of different places, came out to protest, to demand the rule of law and democracy.
Right. And if there are those of you out there who want to learn more about Tiananmen Square specifically, especially what happened in Beijing, we have several episodes we'll put in the description that talk about the subject. Guangcheng, please continue.
Yeah, thank you. Several days before Tiananmen Square, the CCP cut off the phone lines to the U.S. Embassy. The official who worked for President Bush, later she told me that story, that secret story. And she said at that time, the CCP cut off the phone lines so the U.S. could not connect to the embassy in Beijing. But it looked like at that time, the White House just ignored that. They did not respond strongly to the CCP. So later, the CCP thought maybe the U.S. government doesn't care what happened in Beijing. So the CCP prepared to crack down on Tiananmen Square protesters. So you can see if that time, if the U.S. stood up to give the CCP big pressure, maybe history would have been different.
Because if they'd cracked down when the phone lines were taken down, then maybe they would have respected the U.S. authority more, right, Guangcheng?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this story taught us we should focus on it and we should think how to prevent that. After Tiananmen Square, the CCP cracked down on the movement. Then the CCP tried to arrest the activists in Beijing and in the other provinces in the whole country. So a lot of the activists, they tried to escape to foreign countries. A lot of people passed through Hong Kong to go to foreign countries.
Okay.
And you can see at that time, Hong Kong helped them a lot. After Tiananmen Square, the Communist Party could not get the weapons from Western countries because of an arms embargo. So in fact, the arms embargo was very useful. Unfortunately, just after several weeks, the U.S. government sent an official to go to Beijing to talk with Deng Xiaoping.
That was their president at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That is so bad. The CCP kill a lot of people, right? We should have not talked to the CCP for a very long time. But I don't understand why at that time the White House sent officials to Beijing to talk with Deng Xiaoping. That made the Communist Party think the U.S. still want to have the relationship with us.
Yeah.
Since the Communist Party opened the country in 1979, the business situation started getting better and better. Just because the CCP relaxed their isolation policy. Because of this, the people's lives in mainland China got better and better. Yeah. So until 1989, in fact, the businesses were the best in modern Chinese history. Yeah, but after the CCP cracked down on the movement in Tiananmen Square, the situation changed very quick.
So even though business was going well, the people wanted democracy, right, Guangcheng?
Yeah. So because the people saw the better future, they saw how good life was in democratic countries.
Got it.
They wanted China to become the democratic countries.
Right.
So, but after the CCP crackdown on Tiananmen Square, the business situation got worse. The economy was not good. They had a big problem. The people didn't believe the communist government would protect justice and their rights. Yeah. In this situation, Jiang Zemin is the leader in the central communist government. But Jiang Zemin had to listen to Deng Xiaoping, right? At that time, he was 90 years old. But he went to go to the South China, close to Hong Kong. So he said, we should create a big city here. We can use the business situation from Hong Kong. Maybe the Hong Kong economy could influence the cities. So the Communist Party took a lot of military there and created the Shenzhen city very quickly. They opened the special areas, the big city in South China. Since that time, looked like the business stopped getting worse and worse. But in mainland China, because the CCP cracked down on Tiananmen Square, a lot of people, even in the Communist Party, they lost faith in the government.
Right.
And before the Tiananmen Square, the Communist Party would secretly steal the money. After that crackdown on Tiananmen Square, the Communist Party officials would steal money publicly. They took the money for themselves and their families. So at that time, the people didn't believe the CCP's propaganda. They didn't believe the communism will make our country better and better in the future.
Right. A lot of people lost faith in the government, right?
Yeah, a lot of people lost the faith of the government. This made a lot of different things happen.
The Catholic University of America's Center for Human Rights has published a documentary on the United Nations Universal Declaration on Human Rights. The documentary features world-class human rights experts, from former State Department officials to ambassadors and human rights activists. It can be found on our website at humanrights.catholic.edu.